Welcome to the Twomey Stock Market Report. I'm James Twomey, and this is a Buy Alert Trade Tracker update for all the subscribers out there. All right, today's January 16th, Monday. Tomorrow is another stock market day, so let's get ready and be prepared. What's next is always the question. So go to the website, the number 2, mestocks.com. That's tomeystocks.com with the number 2, mestocks.com. And you'll see all the data that we're going to project right here. First of all, I want to point something out. This is a elongated picture of the diamonds or the Dow Jones. We use the proxy of the diamonds, ETF, to do our data analysis. And from a technical perspective, what are we seeing here? If we go back as far as 2022, when the bear market really was in its infancy, looks what's going on. We had a narrow trend track line from here to here, these two purple. I'm going to highlight them right now. And every time we got towards the top of it, what happened? We came back down and hit the lower trend track line again. And the latest one that we happen to have happened in mid-August expanded above that track line quite a bit and then came back and created a new low. But if you look at that second, well, it created a second upper trend track line. And if you look, it's an expanding trend track line from the base. So when that starts to widen, that tells you prices are improving. Well, the downtrend just erased all that. And then to the bottom of, we tested that bottom twice in October. And mid-October, it raced back up. It crossed above that first trend track line, then the second trend track line. And now we're up to the third trend track line that's starting to form, It bounced back, and what happened this time? We did it, till the end of the year, kind of meandered. It did not race down to the lows again. And now we're bumping back up against this third expanded trend track line. So here's the first trend track line that we had from 2022 bear market beginning, the second upper trend track line, and now we're starting to form a third. So the question is, if we break above that, then we're going to certainly go beyond and expand back up, and we could reach up the previous highs back in January 2022 start. If we don't, and somehow the next couple of days we falter, we should not only test the last lows, but most likely there will be a tremendous amount of selling that could bring us and try to retest the bottom lows. And that would be back that we saw in mid-October. So we've got a big test this week coming up. We do still have the golden cross. We use the 9 EMA and the 50 and the 200 EMA, and the 50 did cross above the 200. I'm going to bring that back into color here. See the blue? It did back in December. And it's still expanding. So that usually means positive trend in the technical world. It's not, above all the only thing. It just happens to be an indicator. A lot of people don't put stock into it, but technical traders and algorithms will. What's more important is that most people use this moving average. I use exponential, which is looks at more a weight towards most recent. The moving average also has crossed above and positive on the diamonds. We haven't got that for the SPY yet. If we do get it for the SPY, I would expect the pundits to pick that up in the media, and then we'll get a tremendous amount of buying. But look at here on the SPY, there's quite a bit of gap that we need to gain on that. So we've got a tremendous test going on. And what are we doing with our trades? Well, we're going to go over these real quick. We are back long the bonds, TLT, and also the 200% TLT UBT. We're up a couple of percent there. We joined The indices, we added the small caps. That's the strongest of the sectors besides the Dow. We've got a 3% bump last week. We also were added XLK, which is our indice trend for the NASDAQ, okay? That's up 1.3. So you could still add to these next week. If you go to the TwomeyStocks.com, we've got the stops there. I would start adding if it starts getting near the 9 EMA or the 14 EMA on your chart. We are also long Verizon. That's our dividend play. We're not going to mess around with that one. We'd like to keep that for at least 6 months. It's about a 6.5% dividend, but we'd like to get that. But if it drops below our buy price, we're getting out. Goodyear Tire, it's a slow mover. We're looking at this as a component that could move up during the infrastructure play. It's got a low price to earnings forward earnings, and we're looking at that. We're up at 3.7% there. We're also up in another dividend play, Annaly Capital Management. That's got almost 16% dividend. We're up 3% there. You can still add to that. We're going to try to hold that as long as we can. Our previous videos, go back to the last couple of videos, go into it quite detail. MGM Resorts, that whole sector has been riding for quite some time. We're going to try to play that for a little bit longer. We've got a tight stop on that. We're up 4.5%. XLI is the industrial sector. There's still time to get in there. The EFA, this is the for the EFA is a what we look at overseas type ETF sector. You can still get into that. Borgwana or ILF. We use ILF as well, which I am long, but that's a tougher one to trade. All right, so XLB, material sector, that's still in our top sector. There's a little, if that pulls back, jump into that one. We're up almost 3.5% there. We're up 4.5% in gold miners, GDX. That's a really volatile trade, but that's a subsector of the material trade. If the dollar continues to drop, that should go up. If it dollar takes off from here, which is kind of nearer lows, and it may, that trade will be quick to get out of that trade. Another dividend play is our Plains All-American Pipeline. It's pipeline for gas, oil, etc. It is a very strong dividend play at 7.2% now. We're up 1.5%. Last year we've got 16, 17, 8% every few months on that. So that's another play we're going to do. JP Morgan Chase, the financials are taking off. They're the first ones to come out in earnings season. We're up 5.9%. We got in there on a major pullback, made that alert out to subscribers. Today we're going to tell you, get into a S&P 500 mutual fund. Get into a NASDAQ mutual fund. Get into a NASDAQ mutual fund. We've got a couple that we selected. You can go and get the trade tracker over there at TwomeyStocks.com. That's number 2, MEstocks.com. There, typically we will not offer up a mutual fund unless we see, we're looking for 3 to 6 months minimum. So there's a lot of risk with that. You may want to just take a small portion. If you normally put in, take a third of what you would normally put in. You can always add to it. We like to keep these running because they do reinvest dividends and they tend to do all the work for you. So we have another mutual fund that I didn't put in there, PRBLX. You can definitely get into that one as well. All right, I'm going to add that out to subscribers later today. That's the Twomey Stock Market Report. I want you to go to the number 2 MEstocks.com so you can get all this information. We go over a lot of detail on the latest market report, not only fundamentals, but technically to kind of set this story straight. Our big concern, we'll go back, is into the diamonds, is that, and the SPY, are we bumping up against that upper trend track line? Well, let's stay with the SPY. Before we break here, this is a magnitude of upper trend line for the year since 2022, and you can see we certainly have had some, every time it bumps up, it pulls back. This one was a quick retest So we're gonna, and it's at the 200. We have not been able to really break above the 200 over any length of period of time since the major bear market in March. So we're gonna have to be very careful. We've got very tight stops. But I want you to take a look at this. IWM, small caps, right? If you look at this, it's same thing. It's bumped up against this 200. It's just starting to break from that. Okay, so that's another indicator because that really shouldn't rebound. They're usually the last to rebound, and this one is almost leading the charge, right? And I'm going to do one last thing here, and I want you to take a look at XLB. This is the material sector ETF. If we go back to 2022, we draw the trend line. And again, stocks don't know anything about our trend lines, but it's a good way to keep your head looking at a bigger picture, right, versus a smaller picture, which we tend to always look at. Hey, where's the stocks doing right now? Look at this upward slope. But look at this trend line. Even if we try to expand it a little bit to these mega tops, we're starting to, we've broken this 1, 2, 3 since mid-October, and we have yet to hold. But see the difference here? They're all well above the 200 EMA, and that last time the 200 EMA, it acted as support pretty much. And if we look at the 50 just crossed above. This is the EMA, not the moving average. Most people would use the moving average for the golden cross, right? And here we are. So this material sector has quite a few stocks in it. That it's not your traditional gold. And when you look at a inflation play, right? So let's look what's the top 10 holdings. Let's see. It's Lynn Gases and Chemicals, Air Products and Chemicals, Sherman-Williams, right? Materials and Chemicals, Freeport-McMoRan. We're all familiar with that. I don't know what Corteva is. Newmont Corp, and that's certainly a lot of mining as well. Ecolab, Dow, DuPont, Nucor. Much more industrial chemical. So what's happening? You've got the infrastructure play, money's starting to hit there. Industrials play a big part in the supply side. You've got the need of materials worldwide expanding as China reopens. So that's telling us a little bit of forward thinking of where the market is going. Now, is it telling us that there's a recession near? Not yet. Not yet. And that's the dichotomy that we're in. Are we heading towards a recession? Have we got a soft landing coming up? When we talk about that in our market report, you need to get that at the TwomeyStocks.com. It's right there on the front page. Read it, dissect it. That'll explain why we're seeing this little bit of a change out there in the market space. All right, I'm James Twomey. That's a little bit of insight for your trading this week. Best of luck. Any questions, email me at info@TwomeyStocks.com. Have a great day. Thank you.